Sometimes he doesn't say it out loud, doesn't write it down, and doesn't admit it, but he feels it deeply. How can you tell? Because his body shows it without words. His movements give it away even when he tries to hold back. His emotions leak through the way he acts. His unconscious mind always finds ways to speak, even if he doesn't realize it. We live in a world where many men have learned that showing love openly is seen as weakness, that showing strong feelings means losing control, that saying "I love you" makes them feel exposed, and being vulnerable seems dangerous. So instead, they stay quiet. But their emotions don't go away. Carl Jung, the well-known Swiss psychoanalyst, described the unconscious as the place where we store things we can't face or choose not to think about. Very often, a man's love hides there. Love that he feels strongly but doesn't know how to deal with. That love doesn't just vanish, it shows itself in little ways, in the things he does, in the way he's there for you, in the tension of his body, in long stares, and in behavior that doesn't match his words. When a man is in love but isn't aware of it, it doesn't mean the signs aren't there. They are. He shows them all the time, even if he doesn't notice. This quiet love can feel confusing. It can leave you wondering, do I matter to him, or is he just being nice? Why does he keep wanting to be close but never says how he feels? Why does he act differently with me than with others? The answer isn't always in words. It's in another kind of language, an older and more honest. The language of gestures, glances, and small actions that speak louder than anything he says. This is where Jung's idea makes sense. The feelings we try to hide will still come out in other ways. A man who can't say he loves you might show it by helping you, by sitting with you in silence, or by being affected when you're with someone else, even though he never talks about his feelings. This message is meant to help you notice 5 signs that reveal more than words spoken out of fear, because men feel love too, even if they express it quietly, through small acts and quiet moments. And if you pay close attention, you might understand how true their feelings are, maybe even before they realize it themselves. The first sign is his gaze. They say eyes never lie, and when a man loves, even if he doesn't say it, his gaze speaks for him. It's one of the strongest and also quietest signs. You might not see it right away, but once you do, it becomes impossible to ignore. The way he looks at you is different. It's more focused, more intense, and sometimes more vulnerable. It's not the same look he gives everyone else. Sometimes he looks at you for longer than usual. Sometimes he avoids your eyes completely, but either way, there's a truth behind it. He sees you in a special way. Jung once said, "We don't see the world as it is, but as we are." In the eyes of a man in love, you can see his inner world. He may not be aware of it, but when he looks at you, he sees an ideal, something that touches a deep part of him. You become the image of what his soul longs for, his anima, the hidden side of his personality that seeks wholeness. That's why sometimes he looks at you as if there's something about you he can't explain, something that moves him deeply. He might not fully understand it, but he feels it. When he's around you, his eyes may naturally search for yours, as if just looking at you helps him feel something real. It becomes a silent way to connect, an instinct he can't control. Strangely, this deep emotional reaction can also make him avoid eye contact. Why? Because looking into the eyes of someone who makes you feel exposed is uncomfortable. It reveals too much. A man who isn't ready to face those feelings may look away, change the subject, or try to distract himself, but that doesn't mean he feels nothing. It actually means he feels too much. These looks aren't about attraction or seduction. They're not practiced or fake. They're real and sometimes awkward, filled with a mix of uncertainty and affection. Maybe he watches you when you think he's not paying attention. Maybe you catch him looking and he quickly turns away or pretends to think about something else. But in that brief moment, he was completely present with you. That kind of silent gesture is incredibly powerful. His true feelings slipping through before he can stop them. It's his heart speaking the words he doesn't yet dare to say. Another strong sign is his quiet presence. He may not say "I love you" or write you deep messages, He may not make big romantic gestures, but he's there, especially when it matters most. When things are falling apart or when you don't even know what you need, somehow he shows up. That kind of presence means more than grand words. It's a quiet kind of love. A man who loves you, even if he hasn't accepted it himself, will often feel a strong pull to be near you, especially when you're in need. You don't have to ask. No one tells him to come, but he does. He's there, he watches, he helps quietly. Jung spoke of something called the transcendent function, an inner process that connects the conscious and unconscious. When a man starts to truly care, something inside him shifts. He's guided by a deeper force, one that brings his emotional, kind, and caring side closer to the surface. This kind of love doesn't make noise. It shows up in quiet ways, in moments when he messages you at just the right time without knowing you needed it, or when you're feeling low and he brings food or just sits quietly with you saying nothing. He may not speak openly about his emotions, but he listens carefully. He doesn't interrupt, doesn't rush to give advice. He simply stays present. In a world where many men avoid emotional closeness, that means more than you think. You might also notice how he tries to help, even if he's not sure how. He might do small things like making sure you get home safely, asking if you've eaten, or sending a message just to say good morning. These things may seem ordinary, but from him, they're full of meaning. They're quiet signs of a love he's not ready to name. What makes it more meaningful is that he doesn't expect anything in return. He doesn't use his kindness to control you or make you feel guilty. He does it because he genuinely cares. Often he doesn't even realize how much it helps. He just knows that he feels better when you're okay. This kind of love doesn't try to own you. It doesn't try to impress. It protects without holding tight. It stays close without being too much. It gives without asking for rewards. From a Jungian point of view, it becomes clear that this man is moved by deeper forces, parts of himself that go beyond his conscious thoughts or ego. His most genuine self wants to connect with you, not because he needs to be saved, but because something inside him aligns with you naturally. Another important but less obvious sign is jealousy. He may never admit it, but it still shows. He might say it doesn't bother him, that you can talk to anyone. He'll claim he's not jealous, but his actions tell a different story. The moment you mention another man, laugh with someone else, or talk happily about another guy, his expression changes, his energy shifts. He may act colder or quieter. That's not just coincidence. It's his feelings showing, even if he denies them. It's not just about what he says or does, but about the deep, often unspoken feelings that move inside him when he quietly senses he might lose you. Carl Jung believed that the ego responds defensively when something touches a hidden wound or intense feeling. That's exactly what happens when a man who loves you without even realizing it feels jealousy. This kind of jealousy can come out of nowhere. Maybe he suddenly becomes quiet, acts more serious, says something that stings, or pulls away without any explanation. And you're left wondering, what did I say? What did I do? The answer lies in what was stirred up inside him, an unspoken love, a hidden attraction, a connection he doesn't fully understand yet. Because jealousy, when it isn't harmful or possessive, is a clear sign that emotions are involved. People who don't feel anything don't react, but those who care often show it, even when their words say the opposite. He might tell you, "It's nothing, I'm just tired, lost in thought," but you can sense something is different. You saw it in his eyes, noticed it in his actions, especially in how his energy shifts when real feelings take over. According to Jung, jealousy is an emotion that comes from the unconscious part of the mind, afraid of losing something important. It points to a bond he hasn't accepted yet. He may not be ready to admit he loves you, but the fear of losing you shows he already sees you as someone meaningful in his life. This kind of behavior can be hard to understand because it's full of contradictions. He might say he's not looking for a serious relationship or doesn't want anything committed, yet he still becomes uneasy or annoyed when you spend time with another man. That conflict shows that his emotions go deeper than he's willing to face. And the more he tries to hide them, the more they show up in indirect ways, in passive-aggressive comments, in long silences, or in small, harmless-sounding questions. But the cause is always the same. He has deep feelings for you, even if he doesn't make it obvious. Now let's look at another strong clue, how his physical energy and focus shift when you're nearby. You can pay attention to what he says, but if you really want to understand how he feels, watch his body language. The body usually tells the truth, even when words don't. When a man is in love, even if he hasn't realized it, his body starts to reveal it. Jung said, the unconscious shows itself through symbols, dreams, and also through the body. What doesn't come up in thoughts shows itself through actions, breathing, posture, and movement. And when a man has feelings for someone, it shows in unique ways. Notice these signs. His posture might shift the second you walk into the room. He may straighten up as if he wants to appear more confident, or suddenly seem more reserved but clearly attentive. His feet might point in your direction, even if his upper body is turned somewhere else. Experts in body language say our feet often show where our true attention is. He might try to stay close to you without pushing himself on you. Maybe he finds reasons to remain in the same space, to hang around just a little longer. He might touch you gently, not in a sexual way, but in a kind, warm manner. Maybe he brushes a strand of hair away, lightly touches your arm, or places his hand on your back for a moment when you're walking out of a room together. These are small gestures, but they have meaning. One of the most powerful is his smile, that real warm smile that shows up as soon as he sees you. It's not the polite one he gives to everyone. It's a blend of happiness, admiration, and calm, like your presence gives him peace and a feeling of home. Then there's his nervous energy. Men who feel deeply but don't know how to express it might appear distracted, awkward, or unsure, not because they don't care, but because they care more than they can handle. This kind of body language often reveals more than words ever could, because it's not something they rehearse or think through, it simply happens. If you learn to notice it, you'll understand him more than he'd ever tell you. From Jung's view, this physical behavior is the soul's way of speaking. The body holds feelings that haven't been sorted out yet, and when a man starts falling for someone, even if he doesn't understand it, his body begins to act differently around her. Now we come to one of the deepest and most honest signs, when he shares personal moments with you. Outwardly, he may still appear calm, tough, or emotionally closed off. Maybe he wears a kind of emotional armor that keeps others at a safe distance. But with you, something shifts. He softens. He becomes a little more open. This openness doesn't come from dramatic words or big romantic moves. It's in those small, real moments when he lets down his guard. You don't ask for it. You don't push him. But somehow you become his place of comfort. The one spot where he can relax and stop pretending. One day, during a normal conversation, he might open up about something from his past. A memory that still hurts. A personal loss or a fear he's never spoken about. Maybe he mentions his childhood, a time when his father wasn't around, or an experience that deeply affected him. He might not cry, but you notice a change in his eyes, and in that moment, you feel him letting you into his inner world. Jung once said that true connection between two souls happens not in the bright moments, but in the shadows. When someone opens up and shows you the parts of themselves they usually hide. That kind of honesty is not weakness, it's a deep kind of trust. It's one of the clearest signs that he's developed feelings for you, whether he said the words or not. Because men don't reveal their hearts like this to just anyone, they only do it when someone truly matters. You might notice other things too. He tells you about moments he regrets, things he's done that still bother him. He doesn't want you to fix it or say it's okay. He just wants someone to hear him out, without judging. He may speak about the things he's afraid of, being in a serious relationship, failing, or not being good enough. And he tells you these things, not because he wants to impress you, but because he believes you're someone who won't use his words against him. He might also speak about his dreams, the things he hopes for, the future he imagines. Even if he never says it directly, you can sense that he sees you as part of that future. This kind of emotional openness isn't something he plans. It just comes out because love, even the kind he hasn't fully understood yet, moves him to connect in a way that's real, not performative. After such moments, he might pull back. He might change the subject suddenly or act distant for a little while. That's because showing deep emotions can be scary. But don't think that it wasn't real. That moment was true. It was love, even if he doesn't call it that. From a Jungian point of view, he's letting the inner feminine part of his soul, the anima, speak. And without meaning to, you've awakened that side in him. Because love, real love, doesn't just connect people, it reveals them, heals old wounds and transforms who they are. And that is the truest sign of his feelings. He may not say it, and he may not show it with flowers or promises, but he reveals it through his deepest truth. Even when he pulls away after moments of closeness, it's not because he wants to hurt you, or because his feelings aren't real. Often it's because the emotions he's experiencing are too big, too unfamiliar, or too powerful for him to process at once. He might need time to understand what he's feeling, to come to terms with the fact that someone has reached into parts of him he thought were locked away. He might feel exposed, like his walls have been seen through, and that can make him uneasy. But this discomfort is not a rejection, it's a reflection of how deeply he feels. Sometimes love shows up not in perfect timing or polished words, but in these messy, vulnerable pauses. When he looks at you differently, when he listens more closely, when he remembers the little things you've said or done, it's love acting in the background, even if he hasn't named it yet. There may be times when he confuses you with mixed signals, times when he says he's not ready, but still treats you like someone he doesn't want to lose. That confusion is a reflection of the internal conflict he's dealing with. One part of him wants to protect himself, while another part feels drawn to you in a way he can't control. When a man truly starts to care, his actions may not always match his words, especially if he's afraid of being hurt, afraid of not being good enough, or even afraid of how real it all feels. But if you look closely, you'll see the signs. He remembers your favorite things, shows up when it matters, and silently supports you in ways you didn't even ask for. These are all signs of a man who is falling for you, even if he hasn't yet come to terms with it himself. When you become the one he turns to, the person he confides in, the person he respects and protects, it's no accident. It's because you've become special to him in a way that words can't fully explain. He may not make big romantic speeches, but he shows his feelings in the quiet ways, by checking if you got home safe, by being there when you're having a bad day, by simply staying near. Love, especially the unconscious kind, often appears not with fireworks but in gentle, consistent action. It reveals itself in moments of silence, in a certain look, in how he chooses to stay, even when he has the option to leave. He might be scared of how much you matter to him, scared that once he admits his feelings, everything will change. That fear doesn't mean his love is weak, it means it's real. Because real love isn't always neat or easy. Sometimes it's full of hesitation, of stumbles and pauses, but it's still love. And over time, as he feels safer and more understood, he may start to open up more, slowly letting go of the defenses he built around his heart. He may begin to show up more often in your life, offering help, advice, or simply his presence. He may do things without asking for credit, like bringing you something you mentioned in passing, or solving a problem you were stressed about. These aren't random acts. They're signs that he's paying attention, that you've made a place in his thoughts. And with each step, his connection to you deepens. He might not know how to label it, but he feels it. You become his calm place, the one person he doesn't have to pretend with. And slowly the lines between friendship, care, and love begin to blur. You'll notice that he becomes protective of you, not in a controlling way, but in a way that shows he cares deeply about your happiness and well-being. He wants to make sure you're okay, not because he thinks you can't take care of yourself, but because your well-being matters to him more than he expected. As time goes on, the bond between you two may grow without needing to be defined right away. He might still hold back with words, but his actions continue to speak louder. And if you're patient, if you keep being the safe space where he can be his true self, something beautiful begins to happen. His fear starts to turn into trust. His confusion begins to settle into clarity. He may not give you romantic speeches, but he might do something even more powerful. He'll start showing up as the man who wants to build something real with you, one moment at a time. And while it may have started unconsciously, eventually he'll come to see what you already knew in your heart. His feelings are real. And maybe, just maybe, one day he'll say it out loud. Not with fancy words, but with the kind of honesty that comes only when someone feels truly safe, truly seen, and deeply loved. And when that moment finally comes, when he looks into your eyes and lets those words slip out, it won't feel dramatic or forced. It will feel quiet, steady, and deeply real, like something that was always there but had just been waiting for the right time. Because love like this doesn't need to be rushed. It grows slowly, from hidden feelings to visible care, from confusion to clarity. It forms through trust, patience, and shared moments that might seem ordinary but are actually full of meaning. You'll realize that every silence, every glance, every small gesture was his way of loving you in the only way he knew how before he could say the words. And by then, you won't need grand declarations. You'll already feel it in the way he stands beside you, in how he listens, how he holds your hand without saying a word, how he chooses you again and again without needing to be asked. Because unconscious love becomes conscious, not through pressure, but through presence, through being seen for who you are and still being chosen. He may never be perfect. He may still struggle with words, still have days where he withdraws or seems distant, but now you'll understand. You'll know that behind that silence is someone who cares deeply, someone who took a journey inside himself and found you there. And that's what makes it real, not the timing, not the labels, but the truth of what was felt and finally understood. So if you ever wonder what it means when a man shows his love without saying it, remember this: real love doesn't always arrive loudly. Sometimes it speaks through stillness. It shows itself through nervous laughter, gentle touches, thoughtful pauses, and eyes that light up in your presence. Sometimes it hides in unsaid words, in unfinished thoughts, in moments of emotional struggle. But if you look closer, you'll see it. You'll see that he's been loving you all along, in his own quiet, hesitant, deeply human way. And that kind of love, the one that grows from the soul and unfolds slowly over time, is often the most honest, the most lasting, and the most beautiful of all.